'tis the season for all the end of year things. What it does seem like it piles on at the end of the year. We got daylight savings time, so it's dark, and then we got the holidays, and then we got to shop and presents, and somebody's going to get sick.
Yeah.
With you and the kids, you've got your 4 kids. It throws the sports season. I feel like the Q4 is an intense time for all of us, and yet here you and I come with, don't forget about your financial end of year checklist.
By the way. Yeah, no, I think that's like when you go on vacation and the day before you go on vacation, you have to get so many things done and you get super efficient and you're like, man, I'm checking off activities. I'm cleaning up. My inbox is clean. I'm delegating, scheduling. I'm empowered. And then you go on vacation and you come back and you're like stockpile with stuff you have to catch up on. But then really you have another 4 months to your next vacation. Yeah. So you could just spread all this work out over time.
No. Why not? Why when you can procrastinate and plan on again?
I'm going to have such a hard last 2 or 3 days before vacation that I need another vacation. And then when I go on vacation, I come back and I get jammed again. That's what we do in the fourth quarter. The end of the year marks a turning of the calendar, a turning of age, a turning of all these things. And we're like, we got to get this stuff done. Like this is 2025 stuff. I can't roll that into 2026, nor could I have done it back in July, right? I have to do it right now. And so you just jam all these things in. And then every January, our resolution is like to declutter my life. I'm going to lose weight, be less stressed, be more proactive and productive. Why? Because we got our tail kicked in the fourth quarter trying to get all this crap done. So then we say, we're going to take it easy this year. And then we're setting up a fourth quarter again. That's my thoughts.
So basically, do we need to do a podcast then about this end of year checklist or time management? I feel like.
Well, in the first quarter, we're going to have
we're going to do a time management one in the fourth quarter. Okay, come back in January when we do how to do better this year.
We're going to be like, hey, quit putting it off and get some stuff done.
All right, well, let's talk about what we can do end of year, because if you do anything, like pick something, work on it, you do have time to do some things financially from your retirement plan and a financial perspective. That's what we're going to discuss. The end of year, as I was saying, I feel like the trickle down, the domino falls when the daylight saving times hits. And everything is dark all the time. You're like, why is it nighttime at 4:00? It does serve as a time reminder for a lot of our lifestyle end of year things. Some people, it reminds us to change the batteries in our smoke detectors. We got to replace the filters in our air conditioning, our HVAC system. You got to winterize your car. Very important in Michigan. It also signals end of year financially and the to-dos of that. What is on our to-do list for end of year financial? Because you do a quick Google search on it, you're going to find all kinds of, here's what you should do. This is what should be on your end of year financial checklist. So there was actually, what website was this on? I'm not sure exactly what website it was, but an end of year financial checklist.
Yeah, howtomoney.com.
Okay.
Oh gosh, what a great website. Howtomoney.com.
Everybody's got an opinion.
That's right.
This is their checklist. Let's go.
Sounds like the Wikipedia of financial websites, if I could be honest. That's what it sounds like.
If you put a Google search on it, this is the kind of website and list that will pop up. So let's take this one. We're going to reference it. Tell us if you agree with the stuff that's on their list.
Yeah. So here is their list, and we're going to do agree or disagree. So number one on their list, things to do to check off on our financial chore list. Number one, review your annual goals. Sometimes goals that you make at start of the year don't apply anymore towards the end of the year. Your financial plans may need to adapt. Do we agree with this? I do agree with it. However, I think to wait till the fourth quarter end of year to review your annual goals is stupid, right? So there's a great book called The 12-Week Year. Okay. Brian Moran, I believe, wrote it. And it's about if you set annual goals, and annual goals are so far off that when things drift one way or the other, you give yourself permission to fail because you say, well, it's whatever. Yeah. Instead of setting 12-week goals as a bigger part of a year. So if your goal this year in 2025 financially was to save an extra, $16,000. Well, then you shouldn't set an annual goal of $16,000. You should set a quarterly goal of $4,000 and hit it. And then if you fail, you say, that's okay. I don't want to get to a point of saying, well, I only did 2,000 the first quarter. There's no way I'm doing 14,000 in the next 3 quarters. So I'm going to bail. Instead, what you do is you say, my goal is to do 4,000 a quarter. If I failed the first quarter, no big deal. Just make sure you get 4,000 the second quarter. So it's better to do them that way. I'm not a big
Okay.
fan of annual goals from that perspective. I'm more a fan of the quarterly goals, and that goes back to the 12-week year philosophy.
Yeah.
But just take your annual goals, cut them into quarters, and it's a little bit of a hack. But so a little bit agree, but I also hate the idea of, well, if I'm now in the fourth quarter,
Mm.
and the way that it says that sometimes things that we did at the start of the year aren't applicable anymore towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't made any mid-season pivots.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't made any mid-year, like you made no halftime adjustments. So I disagree with that a little bit. I think that you should be much quicker to react.
Okay.
So number 2, max out your Roth IRA contributions.
Okay.
Big on that. Yes, absolutely. Throw as much into Roth as you can. Understand, though, that there are some people who do not qualify for Roth IRA contributions directly. You have to do some workarounds or some strategies there. But yeah, as much as money as you can get into Roth 401k is another one, much more popular now than it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a Roth 401k option, you should probably be using it. I'm going to say probably because maybe not everybody.
Okay.
I've yet to meet someone who doesn't benefit from Roth in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
However, just understanding that Roth IRA contributions or pivoting your Roth or your 401k to Roth 401k is almost always a great idea. Number 3, maxing out your HSA, your health savings account. HSAs are a great way. You put money in that's never been taxed. As long as you use it for appropriate expenses, it's never taxed. It's like an education account for your health. It's a great way to never pay taxes on money you earn, but get to use it for regular life stuff like health expenses. I love HSAs, especially if you're thinking about retiring early. If you're thinking you want to get out at 60 or 61 or 62, and you have to float yourself those 3 to 5 years until Medicare kicks in, HSAs are one of the best places to do it. If you can put in, just hit the max every year. I think in 2024 it was 4,150. This year it's like 4,500, I think.
Okay.
But if you can, for the individual, I should say, and 8,300 for families.
Okay.
But if you could hit that every year for 5 years going into retirement, you'll be able to cover most likely almost all of your healthcare shortages until you hit Medicare. So if you can get 40 to 50 grand into an HSA by the time you retire, and you retire at 60, you should be able to cover most of your medical expenses until Medicare.
Okay.
For most people, not everybody.
Okay. Right.
For most people. So I love that. Max out your HSA. I wouldn't do it when you're really, I shouldn't say that. If you're young and you have a company plan and you can put money into an HSA, that's always a good thing. It's just less important when you have a company plan, right? Like when you have a company plan, just cover your deductibles or out-of-pocket maximums. But once you start getting into retirement planning with it, from age 55 and beyond, pack that thing out. That way, as you get into retirement, if you want to get out before Medicare, you have got something to cover that bill, and it's just one more stress off the plate. So I'm big on that. Number 4, contribute more to your 401k. I like this. I like putting more money in the retirement account. I'm always a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Again, though, Christmas is expensive.
It really is. It's hard for a lot of people, especially you've got 4 kids. It's really hard this time of year. But for somebody who's closer to retirement, perhaps their kids are out of their house.
Yeah, but then you got grandkids,
It's still an expensive
and you got all
time of
this
year.
crap,
It's
and you're traveling, and Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's expensive. It's so stupid. I'm like, how did we bring salad and it cost us $110? Like everything is just crazy expensive.
Yeah.
And we're also doing like dinners and going out to eat more and hopefully giving more and being charitable and all these things. It's a really expensive time of the year. If you think about it, you should really be front loading your 401k during the less expensive times of the year. January, February, March, especially in Michigan. I don't know. I can't speak for it, but January, February, March, we're inside. Like we're at basketball. Like we're not out in the cold.
It is cold.
Yeah. I'm not out at the beach. We're not on the boat, right? Like we're inside.
Yeah.
So pack out your 401k, front load it. Get 50% of your annual savings done in the first quarter. What if you did that? Then you could lighten up your contributions towards the back half when the year gets expensive, or do it in quarters. First quarter, heavy dump. Second quarter, okay. Third quarter, when it's summer and we're at the cottage or we're up north or we're at like that, those June, July, August months, I get it. Like you can scale back there, but then September, October get heavy because November, December is expensive and all that. So I just think to blindly say dump more in, always you should put more in. But to say November, December, when it's the most expensive months for a lot of people in the entire year, it's just hard. Okay. So should you? Yeah, you should always contribute more to your 401k. I'm a financial advisor. Of course I'm going to say that. But the dad in me and the person who takes our kids out to Delaware to visit family every Christmas and the Thanksgiving and all the stuff, it's the hardest time to add more money.
Okay.
So number 5, tax loss harvesting. This is a big one. If you have what's called non-qualified money or brokerage accounts that are not in an IRA, you can sell off some losses to sell off some gains so you pay no taxes and you rebalance your portfolio. It's a good thing to do. However, this is another one I kind of go back and forth on. I like to tax harvest through the year.
Okay.
The reason being this, I don't know how the market's going to finish. Typically, the market's really good towards the end of the year. November, December tends to be really good,
really?
Which hopefully erases.
I thought Q4 was more volatile.
It's volatile, but for a long time, there's been what's called the Santa rally or the Christmas rally.
Oh,
basically,
okay,
when you go into November,
September,
December,
October, yeah.
September and October, very volatile. November, December tend to be pretty good. Why? Because people are reviewing their annual goals, making Roth IRA contributions. They're contributing to the market.
And they're also spending money, which is good for the economy.
They're investing in retail, and they are also investing in financial, and they're dumping more in, and their company matches sometimes get dumped in. And when all this money dumps into the stock market, it naturally floats it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So as a result, sometimes you lose your losses, right? So like if you go through and in July, you've got a position that's down and a position that's up, and you sell them so you can buy more of the good stuff. Yeah. That's tax harvesting.
Okay.
Well, what happens if the thing that was down, they both go up because the market goes up, but now I can't sell a loss to offset a gain? Sometimes you want to lock in those losses when you can, because it's not that you want to sell low, but that it's a bad investment, and you realize that and you want to get out. So I think tax harvesting can be done quarterly as well. I wouldn't do it daily. I wouldn't live in that space because you're not trying to day trade your 401k or your retirement accounts. But I think tax harvesting is a beautiful thing. I just wouldn't wait till the end of the year.
Okay.
And then finally, the last one, give to charity. It says towards the end of the year, you've still got time to plan for giving without crushing your ability to meet your other goals. I think there's a great study that was done on people's brains. And they put people in an MRI and they gave them something to think about that was fearful. And then they gave them something to think about that made them grateful and express gratitude.
Okay.
And when they found out that in your brain, fear and gratitude can't coexist. If you have gratitude, then the fear has to go away. If you have fear, then you can't be grateful. Like they're canceling operations inside your brain. So as a result, you have to focus on the gratitude side more and more if you want to avoid being fearful. One of the best things we can do in life is live in a state of gratitude, live in a way where we feel good and we're helping others. Our financial goals are towards our retirement plan and towards that, but what good are you doing in the world? I think that's something to think about a lot. And we tend to think about a lot towards, we start, whether we're sponsoring a kid for Christmas or we're donating to, like we do a lot of stuff with the Family Impact Centers in Fowlerville, Michigan. We try to make sure we're always part of their different campaigns. But yes, it feels really good to give back, and it gives you some perspective on life, because sometimes we're like, man, work sucks. This is getting hard. Our kids' schedule, all these things are running around. And you're like, oh gosh, I've got these kids on 4 basketball teams and we're all over the place. And then someone says, hey, any chance you could help me get some socks and underwear for my kids for Christmas? And you're like, holy cow. Like, what are we doing?
100%. Right.
So I just think that really being charitable minded, and this isn't like some sermon. I'm not trying to like be preachy about like, hey, we got to be better. But in kind of a way, we have to be better, right? Like, it's just really good to get some perspective sometimes and say, you know what? If I can be charitable, it's because life's good.
Yep.
And I've been in those spots where it's hard. When we started our company, it was hard. And we had to sacrificially give. We had to sacrificially save. And there's plenty of times when the company made money, but the Douglas family did not. And so we had to like try to navigate those times. And thank God the kids were young and as cheap as they've ever been. And we were able to make it happen.
Yeah.
But being grateful, living in gratitude and giving, that is good for your soul. It's good for who you are. And it gives your money a purpose. And the purpose isn't just more golf. It's about being part of some good in the world, and it makes you better. So I would say that's a big one. I highly agree with that.
Okay.
And the more you can do that, I would take that over some of the other ones. I really would.
Okay.
I mean, I think there's things we should always be doing. But you talk about you review your annual goals, make giving an annual goal and check on it quarterly. I think there's a lot of good we can do. And yes, you should tax loss harvest. Yes, you should contribute to your 401k. Yes, you should max out your HSA. Yes, you should Roth IRA contribute. Yes, you should have annual goals. But at the end of the day, what good are you doing in the world?
Yeah.
And I think that would be a good place to start.
Yeah. It's also a good place to know what you can give, because sometimes it might not be that much. Sometimes it's more than you realize. That's part of the planning process. I mean, legacy planning and gifting and those kinds of things, that goes into every plan that Mike and his team build. So maybe you want to give, but you just don't know what your options even are, or are all these other things, just knowing what you need to be doing at the end of the year. This is part of the review process they do at LifePlan Financial Design. They're ready to do for you as well. We've got links posted in the show notes. Just go to our website. It's michigansretirementcoach.com. Mike and his team, they are here to help you understand your year-end checklist, understand your year-end giving abilities. There's lots to do this time of year, but at least in this space, the financial planning space, Mike and his team, they're here to help simplify the process and help you navigate it through. So visit us at michigansretirementcoach.com.